Hey guys, Jim here from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame. I'm a big fan of the N64, and I'm even a big fan of the original controller. This is one of the most divisive controllers in all of retro gaming. People either seem to like it, or they absolutely hate it. There have been a lot of third-party controllers over the years that have tried to solve the many issues even I can admit with this controller, but outside of spending 100 some bucks these days on the Hori pad, nothing really good out there. Luckily, there's a new option out there thanks to a successful Kickstarter known as the Brawler64 Gamepad, and today we're going to take a look at it. Alright, let's do a quick unboxing. It comes in a brown package with, alright, no padding or anything, just the box. So, here we go. Here's the Brawler64 box. Some stuff on the side. Writing on top. Giving the brand name. And a lot of text on the back. Alright, you open the box up and you get a cord and the controller inside a plastic kind of holder. No frills. Oh, wait a second. Alright, and a little instruction manual. Not that you really need anything, but hey, it's cool that they threw this in here. So, and a nice thank you. Look at that. Alright, looking at the controller, and it's a pretty nice design. When looking at pictures at first, I actually thought it was going to be bigger than it turned out to be, but no, I like this a lot. Analog stick feels good. Has that nice little rubber top on it. Logo right here. Turbo button, clear button. I'll have to figure out what this clear button does. A button, B button, C stick buttons. Well, just C buttons before the C stick, but yeah, these actually feel pretty good. Start button here. Nice feeling D-pad, little bit mushy, but so was the original N64 D-pad, so I can't complain that much there. Z button now is on both sides, and is a trigger button on the back, so that's cool. And the shoulder buttons are your L and R buttons as normal. On the back, you have your controller slot for your packs and your rumble pack and your third-party packs and your transfer packs, so cool to see all that in there. And this is just a nice design. It's super light. I actually can't believe how light this is. It feels like almost nothing, but it feels sturdy too. There's no give in it, so this is really well designed. And the cord to plug it into your console is about 6 feet long, so there's plenty of space there. Gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with it so far, but we won't know how good it is until we give it a go. So here's a Japanese exclusive with Bang.io, and this is a weird kind of sandbox, big level kind of shooter game. It's a lot of fun, and it controls really well with this controller. You fly around, it's really smooth moving around with the analog stick, and I don't have any complaints. Does a really good job. And since you don't really use a lot of buttons with this game, nothing with the control layout gets in the way. An all-time classic here with Mario 64, and it controls well. The analog stick's almost a little too sensitive. I'm making these wider turns than I normally ever would as Mario, but it's also been a long time since I've played this game, so this could just be on me. Yeah, no complaints here. Everything seems to work well enough. Mario Kart 64 now, and this is a game that, outside of speedrunners, I can probably beat anyone in, just because I've spent way too much time playing this game on my own. This is actually a game where this controller falls short because the analog stick is so sensitive, I'm completely thrown off. I cannot drift worth a shit in this game right now with this controller. I just fly all over the place, and turning is almost too sharp. If you really grew up with this game and you just know the control scheme inside and out, you're going to have a hard time with a game like this using this controller. Alright, Perfect Dark is up next, and this is one of those that is almost made for it because it looks like a 360 controller. The layout's perfect for a first-person shooter, and I gotta say, it really works well. Having the Z buttons as the back triggers is just, it's so intuitive at this point, and it just works out really well.
Kind of sucks that, you can't split up the left and right hands, but it's the N64, you had one fire button. Outside of that, there's no complaints here. This works actually great with this game. Smash Brothers, the original, the only actual fighting game I have for the N64, so Retro Fighters Controller, Brawler64, made for fighting games apparently. This is a good test, and it works well. I don't really have any issues here. I'm able to pull off all the moves I normally do. I actually forgot how smooth this game runs, but that's beyond the point. Yeah, it keeps the original control layout. The Z button's not that integral with Smash Brothers, so I don't care about the new design there. Analog stick's great. No complaints here. And here's a real test for you. Star Fox 64, my favorite game of all time. And I am lucky to report that it once again works great with a game like this. You even have that one little tricky part in the first level with those pinpoint turns, and I almost think it's easier using this controller just because of the sensitivity of the stick. Holy crap, this is actually working out really well. No issues, with my intuitive built into my brain control. I adapted instantly. Flying colors here. Last but not least, WCW NWO Revenge. So these games are a little different because they primarily use the D-pad, and I'm happy to say that, once again, I have no complaints. The D-pad feels really nice, it works well. The N64 was never known for having a top-notch D-pad anyway, so this D-pad over here, it's nice. It's a little bit convex, but it really does feel good in the hands. I had no issues with moving around or doing any of the moves. I actually forgot how to pin for a little while, but besides that, and having the analog stick up top, which you use for your taunting, maybe it's even a little better that it's so close to the D-pad, since you can get to doing your taunts even quicker and not wasting those split seconds in between after doing moves. What can I say, man? This is just really knocking it out of the park. So at the end of the day, what do I think of the Retro Fighters Brawler64 controller? It's really good. I got this on Castlemania Games for $35, and for that price, it's kind of tough to beat. It's really well designed, it feels really sturdy in the hands, and there's not that many glaring issues with it. I will say that the analog stick's almost too sensitive because I never have problems with Mario Kart 64, and I was just sliding all over the place, and I'm a drift king in that game, so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Also, the Z buttons being back here instead of directly in the middle, that might take some time depending on some games, but even then I didn't really have that big of a problem with it. I gotta admit, I'm really impressed with it. If I do have another criticism, this port that goes into the system itself is such a tight fit. It's tight going in, it's even tighter getting it out. So, unless I really plan on using this, I'm probably not going to use this controller all that much just because of the fact I don't want to damage my console. So, maybe the one you get won't be as tight, but that's a little bit of a design issue I have here. Also, putting controller packs into here the first 2 or 3 times will be really tight and tough to get out, but after that it loosens up, so that's not as big of a deal. But with all that being said, for a third-party product that only costs $35, I really can't give you any recommendations other than if you hate the N64 controller but you love the console, give this a shot, man. It worked out really well. So, that's it for today, guys. Let me know if you've ever used this controller or if it's something that you'd be interested in. One more quick note, it actually is coming in all different colors like the old N64 controllers. So that's a really nice touch and I'm glad they're doing it. So you can really have the full N64 experience all over again with, in my opinion, a controller that'll probably make a lot more people happy. But all that aside, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, put a comment below if you've ever played it or if this is something you'd be interested in. And as always, you can check out our other videos where we do hardware reviews, video game reviews, and we are the home of the Power Hour podcast. Till next time, guys, cheers.